If I have a question, do you have an answer?
I don't think so. I don't know. What's the question?
Find out in this Q&A, episode 37. So before we get started, I just want to remind everybody that we are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.
Yeah.
Don't forget to click that subscribe button, and that little bell next to it will give you notifications of when our latest videos have been released.
Cool.
But we are going to get started right now. We've got a lot of questions, and I'm sure you have lots of answers.
God, I hope so.
Our first question comes from JD3535, and he says, Frank, are vaccine passports going to be a real thing? What's the deal?
Oh, gosh, everyone's talking about the vaccine passports. Oh, there's still no definitive answer. I mean, as of right now, the U.S. government has not committed to vaccine passports as a federal issue. However, down in Florida already, the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, has already signed an executive order going, absolutely not. There will be no vaccine passports being required or used in the state of Florida, and that no one is even allowed, any company, to even ask you whether you've been vaccinated or not to receive any kind of service.
I don't know how he can put stipulations on a private business that isn't even located in the United
funny when
States.
you talk about people wanting the government to stay out of their business.
Right.
But but then you have where I've been watching other countries, other world leaders that say, I believe vaccine passports will be a thing and will probably be required as we get back to international traveling.
I think it will, and it is a real thing. And I want you to think about something right now when you ask that question, JD. If you go to Africa, you have to have certain inoculations and vaccines, and you have to prove it.
Right.
If you go to China,
right.
If you go to any, like Vietnam, Malaysia,
just basics like here in the United States, and I'm sure other countries.
If you want to go to school.
Kids going to school, you have to get vaccinated and prove it, or you're not getting into school.
So
how is this different?
So that everybody's getting hyper about this, I think is ridiculous.
Well, I think because people want.
I think it's a little, Frank pushes back.
Well, hopefully it's more about them. Cruisers wanting to prepare themselves. And if they need to get a vaccine passport, they want to get it.
Right.
They want to be prepared because they want to get back on a ship. They want to get back to cruising. So,
I think the bigger question for this, which would be secondary to this question about them being real, is do you think we're going to need one if we need a booster? Are you going to keep having to continually update your passport information?
Right. And the other issue with this is NCL got really pissed off with that announcement from the Florida governor.
As they should.
And there's, 6 ports in Florida, if I remember correctly? Six ports, I think. And NCL's like, I'm sorry, but we're going to require proof of vaccination. And our passengers will be vaccinated. We will be asking. We will be looking at that. And if you're saying we don't have a right to do that, to sail out of ports, we're going to pull all our ships out of Florida ports. We'll go somewhere else. We'll port down in the Caribbean. We'll port off the coast of Florida. How about that?
And I think that they're right by doing that, by saying that. You know, money talks, bullshit walks.
These cruise lines have been hit so hard and heavy with this pandemic, along with every other industry.
And they're just trying to make it safe for everybody.
And it's like, oh my God, can you imagine not being able to ask for proof of vaccination and testing and all of that, and then a massive outbreak occurs? They will shut all that down, and here we'll be back to square one. So I don't blame them.
So the next question comes from Eliza Jean. Is that
Eliza Jean? I like that name.
What is the one thing that you two miss about being on a cruise ship? What do you miss, Frank?
Oh gosh. The one thing I miss, there's so many things. I guess I would have to say the thing that I miss are the people. The people, because I love to people watch. And you know what happens when I people watch? Tales from the High Seas videos. Frank pushes back. That's the most fun I have. I don't get out much, as you well know. So yeah, it's the people. It's the people watching. I love that. Food is food. You can eat anywhere, anytime. And I can't drink anymore. So yeah, I would have to say the people. Yeah.
I thought about this question and I can't think of one thing.
You're not going to commit?
I miss everything.
Oh, jeez.
I miss everything.
Cop out.
I miss having my mimosa with breakfast. I miss being served. I miss my
eggs Benedict.
I miss my eggs Benedict. I miss my steak every night.
I miss my ice cream machine. Free ice cream.
Yeah, I miss like 25 ice creams a
lot
day.
of things on that list.
Ooh, I'm choking.
Sneezing.
Excuse me.
You got issues.
No. Seasonal allergies, possibly? I don't know. Anyways, Beast 86.
Sorry, what did you call me?
Beast 86. Is that what it says?
Oh yeah.
Beast 86. I almost said breast. But Beast 86 asks, do you think that the cruise lines are being unfairly targeted by the government?
Oh, God.
Yes, in Florida by Governor DeSantis.
Oh gosh. Yeah, that's a big talk. Is why are the cruise lines being singled out? Who does the CDC
You're going
think
into
they
Janine
are?
Pirro mode.
Yeah, I'm Janine Pirro. Who does the CDC think they are? Well, they think they're the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, and if you are sailing out of U.S. ports, yeah, they have a say. I know people are frustrated, and I know everyone wants to get back to cruising.
Nobody wants to cruise more than us.
I know, and everyone's like, yeah, but over here they're doing this, and over here they're doing that, and this is open, and that is open.
But you don't live over there, and you don't live over there.
I think the cruise lines are being targeted, and why can't we just sail? And then I think if we go back, the cruise lines have gotten a bad rap when you talk about things like the neurovirus. Mm-hmm. And when you look at actual statistics and numbers, the minute you have 5 people contracted the neurovirus on a cruise, it's national news. Meanwhile, here on land in the United States, neurovirus is running rampant, and you don't hear about it. So yeah, I think a lot of times it's all about sensationalism. And I think it gets a bad rap.
And I'm going to play devil's advocate, though.
Of course you are.
No, because you're all confined to a ship.
Yeah.
You're in one small space. I mean, even though these ships are gigantic,
right.
It is a small space.
Right. Those of you that
5,000-6,000 people
that have cruised, you know how packed it is. You're packed on an elevator. You're packed in the casinos and the restaurants.
And
you are packed.
And this will spread like wildfire. Yeah. So I believe in erring on the side of caution.
Right.
And, I think it's wise.
Nobody wants another shutdown. We're just starting to get going. So
exactly.
Yeah, there are people who say, caution to the wind, let's get going. And then there are people who are like, let's err on the side of caution. But then again, erring on the side of caution delays the industry to get back moving. That's crew members and port employees and all the people who are out of work. It is such a difficult balance. But again, they err on the side of caution as it relates to health and safety.
Mm-hmm. So the next question comes from Jenny B.
Jenny B
in the house. And she wants to know what our favorite cruise ship is. Apparently you're not watching our videos, Jenny, because our favorite cruise ship is the Gem. That's right, the NCL Gem. A segue into we have a group cruise on in August of 2023 on the NCL Gem to prove to all of you guys that come on the group cruise
why we love her
so much.
Yeah.
So if you want information about that group cruise, you just simply have to email us at
cruisingwithwheels@gmail.com.
And that's right. It's a new email address.
Do you remember when the Gem was always in port in New York?
It was.
Do you remember when they wanted to move it?
Yes, and there
Whoa.
was, I mean, NCL called holy hell
Oh my gosh.
from everybody in New York.
You have never
I couldn't believe
seen
it.
such an uproar over a cruise line repositioning a ship as you saw when they wanted to pull the NCL Gem out of New York City's port, and everything went cuckoo crazy and they canceled it. That's how much people love the Gem.
Oh, the next question comes from the gallant lad.
Okay.
He says, I usually never purchase cruise insurance.
Okay.
But now with this pandemic, is it a good bet to buy it now?
Okay.
Well, he might not know how cruise insurance works.
Okay. Is this an education time?
Well, we generally get the insurance because the insurance is good for things like medevacing off the
Right.
ship, covering prescription costs if you're ill,
Right.
the visit to the
Medical center.
infirmary.
Yeah.
However, the thing that people don't seem to realize, and we get a lot of questions about insurance,
Right, right.
is that 9 times out of 10, you have to pay for your services up front. So, like when I visited the infirmary, it was like $250 to visit the infirmary, and then we had to pay it, and then we got the money back from the insurance. But it covers things like repatriation
Right.
and so on and so forth. But there are certain stipulations in the policy
Fine print.
that exclude pandemic activity. So like the people that were on the Princess ship in China, they couldn't be medevaced or anything because it doesn't cover the pandemic. Like a pandemic, act of God. Well, I guess like a giant wave would be an act of God, but
Poseidon Adventure?
that
Is that
would
what
be,
you're talking about?
yeah, that would
Well,
still
that'd
be covered.
scary.
But you got to read your policy.
Right, right.
So, and I think I read that they're going to start coming out with some insurances that cover pandemic events, but it's going to be pricey.
Yeah.
Pricey.
And again, the insurance that you want is what you need.
What you need.
That reflects you personally. So, you really can't look at buying insurance as just kind of a general blanket, oh, I bought insurance. Does it cover you personally based on your personal needs, medical history, things that, God forbid, would happen? Look at all of that.
Yep. Our next question comes from Capricorn 36.
Capricorn.
What is an excursion bubble?
Oh, the bubbles they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's generally they've been saying that no one, in the beginning, no one was going to be allowed to off the ship, freewheeling, roaming around. That you would have to be part of this.
Freewheeling.
Yeah, freewheeling. Oh, it was like a free-range chicken, right, roaming. And so to get off the ship, you have to buy an excursion, and you would be within
Through the cruise line.
through the cruise line and be part of that bubble group of whatever, 10 people, 20 people, whatever it is, and you cannot leave the group. Now we've read a lot of stories about people who they were on the cruises, they were within their excursion bubble, and then they left the bubble.
Well,
And
we haven't read a lot.
And then they
There were
went
only
off
a few
on
cases.
their own. And what happened when they came back? They were bounced off the ship because you cannot leave the bubble.
Right.
Because you are now, we don't know what you brought back into the bubble and onto the ship.
When it comes down to it, it's all about tracking.
It is.
So that they know where you've been, who you've been in contact with, so on and so forth. So
yeah, that's a bubble.
That's the bubble.
The bubble.
Kind of like your bubble at home is who you live with.
Right.
That's the easiest way to break it down. So the next question comes from William. Why are people hung up on cruising with all the limitations being placed on cruise lines? Just go to an all-inclusive land destination and be free. It sounds kind of like
free.
It kind of
Okay.
sounds like a statement, but it's kind of a question at the same time.
Now you got all the cruisers going, who is this person? Beat them. What do you mean, what's all the hype about cruising?
Listen, Billy. So, no matter where you go or what you do during this time of the pandemic, you will be wearing a mask. You will be social distancing. You will be doing all the things that they're going to require you of on a cruise line.
Right, no matter where you go, where you think you're going, there's going to be protocols. So yeah, let's say fly to an all-inclusive in Jamaica, but you're going to fly and there's going to be protocols at the airport, on the plane, to get into the all-inclusive resort. Will you have to show vaccination proof? You're going to COVID test before you. There's wearing masks. There's going to be stuff. Just because it's not on a ship doesn't mean that there's no protocols anywhere.
And for me personally, when I spend that kind of money, because it's going to be pretty much the same whether you go on an all-inclusive or go on a cruise, when I spend that kind of money, I want to wake up every day in a different destination.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to keep waking up and seeing the same thing. I can do that
Well,
at
see,
home.
that's the good part that we say about cruising, is that you get on this floating hotel, and you unpack, and you're like done for a week or more, and you're floating to all these different countries, and that's the great part of why we like it.
The next question comes from Terry.
Yes, Terry.
And what is the next cruise you two have planned?
Oh, well, you kind of already spilled the beans on that.
Yeah, well, I gotta say, if they hadn't seen our cruise news,
Right.
I'm looking into the Prima for 2022 for us. But currently, the biggest thing that we have planned right now is our group cruise for 2023.
It's our second annual Cruising with Wheels group cruise.
It's March of 2023, and I think I said August earlier.
You were thinking of the
I
one we had
was.
to cancel.
I know.
Yeah, no, it's
So it's March of 2023, and it visits the Port of New York City, was where we go out of. Grand Turk, San Juan, St. John, St. Martin, Tortola, Dominican Republic, and we have 4 sea days. It's 11 days total.
Best of the Caribbean.
It's the best of the Caribbean. We're super excited. All you have to do is email us if you want to come along with us. We currently, I don't know, we have like 35.
We have 30, if I remember, as of
Something.
right now, we have 34 cabins booked with 61 cruisers coming with us.
The more the merrier.
And we're still how far away? Yeah. March of 2023.
And the more the merrier, because I'm sure the more people we get, the better things I can get them to give us.
Yeah.
So
and you're gonna put up all the perk information. And
I'll roll
kind of
that.
stuff,
I'll roll that for them to see.
So if
and email us.
Email us at our new email address, cruisingwithwheels@gmail.com. And again, Kevin will send you the information sheet as to exactly the details and how to book it properly to be part of this private group cruise.
Next up, we have Dave 66, sorry. A lot of these cruise ships are just too big. Too many people.
Oh.
What are the pros and cons of small versus big?
Wow. Big can be nice. Small could be effective.
I have to say that you need to get your mind out of the gutter.
No.
And we're going to start.
We've been on both.
We've been on both. We prefer the smaller ships, but we know other cruisers that prefer the larger ships. What you will find on a smaller ship is you get a more intimate.
Stop creating candy.
Experience with the crew. You always get the crew, but
Yeah.
it seems like on a smaller ship you really get to know the crew.
You really do. Yeah.
You will be able to learn the ship route faster, like how to navigate the ship. You will, a lot of times on the smaller ships, I find that the entertainment is just a little bit higher, the notch of entertainment. But then again, on the larger ships,
you're going to have more venues for eating, more
Right.
restaurants. You're going to have probably more activities. A lot of these big ships, you know, you're going to
You're
have,
going to get attractions.
yeah,
Like
you're
roller coasters.
roller coaster, go-karts, laser tag,
I don't know. There's so
Ferris
many.
wheels, and all these
And
crazy things.
and depending on the cruise line that you go on, some of the larger ships will have a Broadway production
Right.
show, like when we were on the Encore and they
Right.
did Kinky Boots.
Right. But again, everything is kind of relative because you have a smaller ship, but it only has so many people. And yeah, then you have the big mega ships that have 5,000 to 6,000 people, and it sounds like a lot of people, but you're on a mega ship. Now
Right.
we did the NCL Bliss, the NCL Encore, fully booked ships. But
Like
again,
full
those
capacity.
yeah, but those ships, because they're mega ships, have more elevators. So again, it's,
And well, when we noticed too the design difference
Yes.
between the Bliss and the Encore, they tweaked some of the areas so that it didn't seem like it
Yeah.
was many people.
right. And I was nervous because when we did the Bliss in 2018 for that inaugural Alaskan cruise, I was nervous. I was like, that's a lot of people, and it can be very overwhelming. And I'm claustrophobic, and you're down in the wheelchair, and you got all these people around you. But I have to say, on that cruise, we did the inside cabin, which was beautiful, and I didn't have a problem with that. And all the people that I thought I was going to get nervous about, I wasn't. I didn't feel overwhelmed.
That was a great little
Yeah.
secret hallway that our cabin was in.
So, yeah, things are relative. If you want a more sedate,
I would say
low key.
And if you're a new cruiser, I would say do a smaller ship.
Yeah.
If you're used to cruising, do it bigger.
But if you're a newbie cruiser and you're just adventurous and you want all of that and say, oh, that's for me. Oh, man, I'm going to hit those go-karts, laser tag, Ferris wheel, that.
Why do you look so angry when you say,
I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And then they got the basketball and the golf, the mini golf, because that's your thing. Because you're all, but if your thing.
ooh, and the ropes course.
Yeah, right. But if your thing is, I'm not into that. I'm into lounging at the pool. I'm into reading my book. This is a relaxing cruise. It's what you're looking for.
It's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And when you say that, I want them to think about all this, what I call crap, that they build into the bigger ships,
Right.
like the go-karts
Right.
and that's taking up more pool space.
I know
more pool
you have
deck.
an issue with that.
So when you're, well, I'm just
I
saying,
know.
like, Dave and Darlene are
pool
really
people.
by the pool all
Right,
the time. And you'll have a smaller pool area on a larger ship.
Isn't
It
that
sounds
crazy?
funny.
Right.
So if you're out there for the pool time, you might want to go with a smaller ship.
Right.
And our final question comes from a crazy cruiser.
Wow.
They write, my hubby is very, very, very casual cruiser. I'm more of a glamour dress-up kind of girl. What's a good cruise line compromise?
Okay, so we kind of have like a Green Acres thing happening here, where someone is like t-shirts and shorts versus evening gowns and tiaras.
Well, I gotta say that the only cruise line for them, in my opinion, is NCL. Believe me, we hate beating that it's NCL. But that question really, I mean, come on.
Kind of lends itself to that kind of answer.
It really
because
does.
a lot of the other cruise lines, they have specific dress codes.
Dress codes and formal nights.
And things like that.
And frankly, a lot of cruisers say we're crazy because we don't want to dress up.
We used to bring
We used
our
to
suits.
dress to the nines.
We used to bring our suits. No more suits.
We figure we're on vacation. We are
Right.
there to relax.
Right.
I don't want to be told that I need to, after dark, if I'm inside the ship,
Right.
I have to wear pants and long sleeves or
Suit jackets
for dinner,
whatever.
Or,
Right.
I mean, it might be a different thing if we were on like a formal Mediterranean cruise.
Right, which I was on the Costa Europa, and evening gowns, cocktail dresses, suits, and tuxes every night at dinner.
But
That's how it was.
we can say that, and put your mind at ease, that we have been on NCL ships where they do the formal or not night, and we have been in our shorts and t-shirts, and in the table next door to us, they've been in a tuxedo and gown.
Right. So
And nobody feels funny about it.
Right, because again, formal or not, and that's a good part of the NCL casual cruising.
Just make sure your hubby isn't wearing stained clothes if you want a nice picture, because on the formal or not nights, it will be photography everywhere.
Yeah, and I understand.
We should get some new headshots and stuff.
Because a lot of people are like, that's the only time I'm able to really get dressed up. Is I'm on vacation, I'm on this cruise, and I want to dress up. I don't get to do all this stuff when I'm at home. I don't get to wear that cocktail dress, or I went out and I bought this, and this for my cruise. So I get that. But, if you go to the different cruise line websites, look at their dress codes, and find a balance that works for you and works for your hubby.
But I'm telling you right now, I've seen the dress codes.
Yeah.
Everybody, if you go on Holland, if you go on Princess, if you go on Celebrity, even Carnival. You go on Carnival, they have those formal nights. You're not eating in the dining room.
Right.
Remember, we went on that Carnival one, and we had to eat in the buffet.
Right.
Because we couldn't go in on formal night in the dining room. And I believe me, it irritated me, but I get it, because the people that are cruising on the cruise line, they want that special night to be a special night for them and everybody around them. And all right, fine.
Now, as it relates to specialty restaurants, you might find that they may be a little strict with the dress code. Let's say on NCL, where it's all casual cruising. The one specialty restaurant that we found that they really are strict with dress code is Le Bistro, which is their French restaurant. And they have their hostess or host outside the door of the restaurant, and they're really making sure the people in line to get in are dressed appropriately. And we have seen them deny people to come in.
But even then, it's not shirt and tie and suit.
Right.
It's, a nice polo.
A collared shirt is what they refer to, not a T-shirt.
Pants.
Right.
But, I remember, I think it was on the Bliss maybe that we went to the bistro.
Right.
And I was wearing shorts. So it's also kind of is ship specific.
Right. Which is kind of irritating, because you're kind of looking for guidance, standard guidance. Cagney Steakhouse, we've been there. Tank tops, wife beater T-shirts, shorts, flip flops. So just do your research.
If you have a question, comment, or just need to know something, right?
I need to know.
Send us an email.
Where do I send this email to?
Well,
cruisingwithwheels@gmail.com.
But until next time, we want to remind everybody to always
travel safe
and cruise often.